Yeah, I just seen the Breakfast Club. Jimmy popping all that bull. I be seeing Jimmy talking about we Gucci boo boo. He in the Gucci store. Talking about we Gucci boo boo. The Black King niggas they was going fuck you up. Jimmy, they was like, Marita Monero.
He was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when Ballin' took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing.
When 50 Cent drops a warning, the entire rap scene stops breathing for a second. This man's name alone makes people straighten up. And this time, his target was none other than Jim Jones. It all kicked off after Jim got a little too bold during an interview, trying to flex his mouthpiece and question 50's street credibility. He said something slick like, "A lot of these dudes be acting tough for the cameras. We know who really outside." And boom! That single line lit the internet up like wildfire.
He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally he had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, and I knew I just took the shot, Murder, to see, because I wasn't sure he was gonna go for it. Mm-hmm. But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you gotta watch and see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh, he really like that. Hey, give me this, give me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want him. We want you at the show, Jimmy. Yeah, but that was one of those things I just threw it out and see what. And then when he bit to it, because it was like he was having a moment that not sure that was going to ever happen again at that point. And then he's going, for them, they had records that where, look, I always said it's a certain artist, I go, damn, when is he going to have his moment? Like, Fab.
Everyone instantly knew who he was aiming at, because if there's one rapper who's got both chart-topping hits and a real street resume, it's Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. This man isn't just rap royalty, he's a walking business empire with a reputation you don't play with. And if there's one thing 50 never does, it's let disrespect slide. Within hours of that interview dropping, 50 hit back. Not with a track, not with a screaming rant, but in pure 50 fashion, with a cold, surgical Instagram post that had everybody's jaws on the floor. It wasn't loud, it was lethal. The kind of move that reminds you who runs this game. Everyone watching knew something serious was about to go down, and the tension in the air was electric.
Recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy
big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying, Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
so
well,
to be compared,
yeah. Let me that young kid out. Let me.
He was young, and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade.
He posted, "Some of y'all better chill before I remind the city what really happened. No names, no tags. But come on, everybody knew exactly who that message was for. The tone, the timing, the energy. It screamed, Jim Jones, watch yourself." Fans went wild in the comments, flooding the post with fire emojis and saying stuff like, 50 about to expose somebody, and Jim better relax before 50 start dropping receipts. And let's be real, when 50 Cent says, remind the city, he's not talking about gossip or rap lyrics. He's talking about real life street situations. The kind of secrets most rappers pray never get mentioned in public. 50's not the type to bluff. He moves with strategy. Every word he types is part of a bigger play. He's the kind of man who plays chess while everyone else is still arguing over checkers. So when that message dropped, the whole internet froze. It wasn't a joke, it was a shot fired. People instantly knew something serious was brewing.
So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you gotta realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that, I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation. We talking about 94, 93, I was in 11th grade. Nigga, it's 2025. There's a big gap there, you know what I mean? And I want people to understand that. So when Shorty's telling people that, yeah, he's 20-some years old, that goes to show the part of the era that he's in, that I came into light and started going crazy, that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them, some of them though.
You know what I mean? Like
hip-hop blogs, gossip pages, and fan accounts reposted it non-stop, calling it 50's villain mode unlocked. Even folks close to Jim were supposedly warning him, saying things like, yo, maybe you should chill before this gets messy, because this right here, this isn't your average rap beef. This is personal. And when 50 Cent gets personal, somebody's reputation usually doesn't make it out alive. There's a long, messy history between 50 Cent and Jim Jones. This beef didn't just appear out of nowhere. These two have been circling each other for years, from those old school Dipset verses, G-Unit tensions to industry politics, and deep street whispers that go way beyond rap music. But here's where things take a twist. This isn't 2005 anymore. 50's not just a rapper on the block. He's a mogul now, a TV boss, a power player, a straight-up media machine with an army of fans ready to ride at any moment. When 50 speaks, millions tune in instantly. So that post wasn't just a shot at Jim. It shook the entire culture. People online were like, damn, 50 got more pull now than ever. Meanwhile, Jim's still out here throwing slick comments like it's still the mixtape era. That's what makes the situation different. 50 isn't moving like a rapper anymore. He's moving like a man who could crush someone's whole career with a single Instagram post. One click from him, and you're trending for the wrong reasons. So, yeah, maybe Jim thought his comment was just another funny line for the internet. But when 50 Cent fired back, the whole mood shifted. The jokes stopped. The timeline got quiet. Suddenly the question wasn't, what did Jim say, but what does 50 know? And in hip-hop, when people start asking that, you know something heavy might be about to drop. To really understand why that warning hit the way it did, you gotta rewind to where it all began. The roots of that G-Unit versus Dipset tension. Back in the early 2000s, New York City wasn't just running the rap game, it was the rap game. Every block had a movement, every crew had power, and the rivalry between these two camps shaped a whole era. Back in the day, it was 50 Cent and G-Unit on one side, and Cameron with Dipset holding it down on the other. Two powerhouse movements repping different corners of New York City. Both crews were running their own lanes, dripping with influence and street respect. But make no mistake, that competition was real. Even if it never exploded into an all-out war, the air was thick with ego, pride, and that silent rivalry every real hip-hop head could feel. Jim Jones, being Dipset's loudest and most animated voice, always made sure Harlem's energy stayed front and center. He constantly reminded folks that Harlem had its own flavor, flashier, louder, and wilder than anything coming out of Queens. But here's the thing, 50 Cent's legacy speaks louder than any words. This man built his empire from scratch, surviving shootouts, label beefs, and every kind of industry trap that could have ended his career. He didn't have to say he was real. He proved it. That's why every time Jim threw shade, fans couldn't help but call it what it was. Jealousy. Because deep down, everyone knows 50 earned his respect the hard way. Fast forward to today, and the gap between them is massive. 50's out here, living as a multimillionaire mogul, running hit TV empires like Power and BMF, while expanding his brand across the globe. Meanwhile, Jim's still out here chasing clicks, dropping names, and trying to stay in the spotlight by stirring the pot. That's what made 50's latest warning hit different. It didn't sound like a diss track. It sounded like a boss checking an employee. That cold, calm, know your lane energy that says everything without having to raise a voice. Insiders started whispering that 50's post wasn't some random late night flex. It was calculated. Word is, 50 had been watching Jim's slick talk for months. Between the shade Jim threw at Maze, Cameron, and now 50 himself, dude's been poking at too many people from the same Harlem tree. And finally, it's catching up to him. Online, people started clowning him hard, calling Jim Harlem's noisy neighbor, saying he's been talking way more than he's rapping lately. The jokes were brutal, but underneath all that, there's a real issue. Jim's trying way too hard to prove something that doesn't even need proving anymore. He's constantly reminding folks he's outside, that he's real Harlem, that he's still that guy. But truth be told, in 2025, that whole I'm real, I'm street energy doesn't hit like it used to. The culture shifted. It's no longer about how loud you talk. It's about the moves you make. And that's exactly where 50 Cent stands tall. His dominance now comes from power plays, not punchlines. So when he dropped that icy warning post, fans instantly felt the old 50 creeping back. The get rich or die trying 50. The tone, the confidence, the way he said, remind the city. It sent chills. It reminded everybody why his name still holds weight and a little bit of fear in hip-hop. Because 50's not the type to argue. He's the type to pull receipts. And when he hints that he's about to remind the city, people know exactly what that means. He's got connections in New York and that run deep, way deeper than the internet could ever imagine. And Jim's response? Silence. No posts, no clapback, no live stream, nothing. That quiet said more than a diss track ever could. When 50 Cent calls you out and you suddenly go mute, that's not peace. That's pressure. The kind of pressure that makes the whole industry hold its breath, waiting to see if 50's really about to expose something. And right now, Jim's feeling every bit of that pressure. The internet's got him under a microscope, and it's only getting hotter. After 50's warning went viral, social media detectives went crazy. They started digging deep, pulling up old interviews, clips, and stories, trying to piece together the real history between these two. That's when things started looking way deeper than just music. See, rumors been floating around for years that 50 and Jim's tension goes way beyond rap. People whisper about old street business that never got finished, handshake deals that went sour, and behind-the-scenes alliances that turned ugly. None of it's ever been confirmed publicly. But when 50 said, "Remind the city," fans instantly knew he was hinting at something real. Speculation went wild online. Some said 50 was talking about Harlem street ties from back in the day. Others claimed it was connected to label politics. When 50 and Cameron had that infamous on-air argument on Hot 97. That moment was pure chaos. Two heavyweights clashing live. And of course, Jim was right there, backing Cam like a soldier. So even though years passed, that energy never really faded. While 50 moved on, building TV empires, signing million-dollar deals, and expanding globally, Jim kept that tension alive through little jabs and sly comments in interviews. And now, it's like karma finally circled back around. Fans are saying Jim should have just left 50's name out of his mouth. Because if there's one thing everyone knows, it's that 50 Cent doesn't forget anything. This man's built the whole brand on being petty, strategic, and ruthless when crossed. He's embarrassed rappers, CEOs, and even billionaires online, publicly. So when someone like that decides to remind the city, you already know he's not bluffing. And that's exactly why the whole hip-hop world is sitting tight, watching Jim sweat, and waiting to see if 50's next move ends up being career-ending. Ain't nobody safe once 50 Cent locks in on you. From Ja Rule to Diddy, history shows that once 50 decides you're a target, he won't stop until you tap out or vanish from the spotlight. And if patterns repeat, Jim Jones might be next in line for that public humiliation tour. The wild part, 50 didn't even have to say much this time. Just that one cryptic post sent shockwaves through the whole industry. Within hours, rappers started quietly unfollowing Jim. Bloggers began digging up old clips of him talking reckless, and the vibe online shifted fast. Even some of his Harlem peers who used to ride for him went ghost. Total silence. It's like everyone's holding their breath, waiting to see if 50's about to drop another exposure bomb. And if he does, oh, it's guaranteed to break the internet. Then, just when the drama was peaking, fans noticed something strange. 50 deleted that post. And that's when everyone's antennas went up. Because when 50 deletes something, it's never random. It usually means one of two things. Either he's planning something bigger, or he's already moving behind the scenes in ways nobody can see yet. 50's silence has always been his most dangerous weapon. He plays the long game while everyone else scrambles for clout. That's the real difference between 50 and most rappers out here. They talk loud for attention. He moves quiet for impact. And while Jim's been trying to act calm, people close to the situation say that, unbothered, look ain't real. Because when 50s are in the mix, even silence feels heavy. Every podcast that mentions Jim, every tweet, every quote, it all turns into fresh speculation. The man can't even breathe online without fans wondering, is 50 about to expose him next? The whole internet's sitting on edge right now, just waiting for 50 Cent's next move. And let's be clear, this isn't even about music anymore. It's about pride. Jim Jones built his whole image around being tough, being Harlem's loudest voice, the guy who stands tall no matter what. But now, the internet's flipping the script, calling him the man who woke up 50 Cent. And that's not a good look, because when you wake 50 up, he doesn't just clown you online, he destroys reputations. Now that his warning has gone viral, everyone's asking the same burning question. What happens next? Is 50 really about to expose something heavy? Or is this just his way of putting quiet pressure on Jim to fall back and stay in his lane? Either way, the message has already been delivered loud and clear. 50 Cent doesn't play when it comes to respect. He made it known that certain names shouldn't even mention his unless they've got permission to do so, and that's the key difference here. 50's not moving like a regular rapper anymore. He's operating like a brand. He's not just Curtis Jackson. He's a global empire. Every time someone drags his name into messy drama, he doesn't just react. He profits. He flips tension into headlines, turns beef into buzz, and somehow, every single time, he ends up boosting his shows, his projects, and his dominance all over again. Meanwhile, Jim's still out here fighting for attention in interviews, while 50's playing a whole different game, the power game. The streets might respect toughness, but the world respects strategy. And when it comes to that, 50's on a level most rappers can only dream about. 50 Cent turns tension into profit, while Jim Jones keeps turning it into problems. The internet wasted no time putting their careers side by side, and the difference couldn't be more obvious. 50's been rich for 2 decades, still relevant, still respected, and let's be honest, still feared. Meanwhile, Jim's been grinding, but lately his biggest moments come from interviews and podcasts, not music charts. People are starting to say it loud. Jim's chasing attention while 50's out here collecting results. That's why fans are calling this whole situation a reality check. It exposed something deeper. Jim's still trying to prove himself, while 50 doesn't have to prove anything. The man already owns the respect Jim's still running after. And the craziest part? Some fans think 50's warning wasn't just aimed at Jim, it was a shot to the entire industry. Like a reminder that even in 2025, when 50 Cent speaks, the whole internet listens. One cryptic line from 50, just a few words, can shift the whole online culture for a week straight. That's not hype, that's power. Real, earned, untouchable power that money alone can't buy. Meanwhile, Jim's standing at a crossroads with the whole world watching his next move. If he claps back, he risks waking the sleeping giant again. And when 50 unloads, there's no mercy. But if he stays silent, people will call him scared, say he folded under pressure. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation. And deep down, everyone knows it, because once 50 Cent's got your name in his sights, it's not just beef anymore. It's a career moment you can't control. It's checkmate either way. And that's exactly why people say 50 Cent doesn't play beef. He strategizes it. Every move he makes feels like chess, not chaos. He's always 3 steps ahead, thinking 10 moves past everyone else. Even other celebrities started chiming in online, warning Jim to let it go while he still can, because everybody knows 50 isn't the type to argue and forget. He's the type to wait, gather receipts, and strike when the timing's absolutely perfect. That's why his warning went viral the way it did. It wasn't just a post. It was a power statement, a reminder that in this game, certain names still carry real weight and certain rivalries never really die. They just simmer in silence until the moment's right. When 50 said, "I'll remind the city," the whole hip-hop world knew exactly what that meant. He's sitting on something heavy. 50's message couldn't be clearer. Don't play with me. I built too much to entertain clowns. That line hit like thunder. A mogul reminding everyone that he's untouchable, that his legacy can't be disrespected without consequences. Now the entire culture's watching with bated breath. Will Jim Jones try to defend his pride and fire back? Or will he stay quiet and pray that 50's storm passes over? Either way, the tension's at its peak. And one thing's for sure. When 50 Cent drops a warning, the streets listen, the internet shakes, and hip-hop remembers exactly who's still running the board. So what do you think? Is Jim brave enough to respond or smart enough to back down? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe to Juicy Reel for more wild breakdowns like this.